So, ladies and gentlemen, did making $1 million at the age of 18 really change my life all that much? Well, that's what we're gonna find out in this video. Now, 2018 was a pretty cool year. I was able to do a lot of really cool stuff. I was able to really scale my business, and at the end of it, have something that I could look back and was really, really proud of. And I know this is just a number, but it's definitely a number that people place a lot of emphasis on. I was able to make over $1 million at the age of 18, which I never would have thought that I would have accomplished something like that. Kind of growing up, reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Personal MBA, just a lot of books on money, money management, how to make money. I didn't know about digital marketing. I didn't know about social media marketing. I didn't know, I never thought that something like that was possible. I always thought, I kind of plug away, I'll do what they do in The Millionaire Next Door, which is a book. I'll save my pennies, and then eventually maybe when I'm like, 30 or 40, I definitely thought I could do a lot quicker than most people, but I thought maybe at like 30, 40, 50, I'd make it big, and to be honest, $1 million really isn't big, but I thought, at that point, that's where I'd really start having a really good level of success, maybe through like real estate or this thing or that thing. Well, as I said, the fact that I was able to do it at 18 was amazing. But let's be honest, has it really changed my life that much? Now, a lot of people would come on to a YouTube video like this and they'd be like, of course it changed my life, now I'm popping bottles and I'm in Saint-Tropez with all my friends, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And if any of you guys know me well or have been on this channel a lot, you know that, yeah, to be honest, I guess you probably already know what the answer to this video is. But making $1 million in a lot of ways has been incredibly awesome, and it's added a lot to my life. But in a lot of ways, it's actually made my life a hell of a lot fucking harder. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I have this sweet spot and sort of this magic number in my head, and it's roughly around $10,000 a month. And that's why, at growagency.com, which is my online education business, and really when I'm trying to help someone who's starting at zero, I'm trying to get them to that magic number, which is 10K. Now, preferably above 10K, if they could get to 20, 30, maybe even 40K a month, then that's a really awesome place to be at, because I found that, between 10 and 40K a month, that's really the number. If you do focus on, if you focus on eliminating as much, imagine you're a car, right? And you have these little you have like the window open and you have like a little piece of tape stuck to the side, and you have all the stuff that's slowing you down. If you can do 10 to 40K a month and really just rip off all the shit that's slowing you down and just stay very lean and efficient, I found that 10 to 20, 40K a month to actually be the best place to be at when it comes to, I don't want to say happiness, because that's not true, because for different people, and you're gonna find out this about me, for different people, happiness means different things. But definitely in terms of the highest perceived quality of life, I'd say that 10 to 40K a month is the best place to be at, because that's really where you don't, and look, you have to work very, very hard to set things up, but that's really that level where you don't have to work extremely hard, and you don't really need to, you can fuck up a lot of things, and you don't need to have a big team and big operations, and you can still be doing 10 to 40K a month and have a really good quality of life. For 10K a month, I don't think people realize, you can, and maybe not in London, because, London's very, very expensive property wise, but, in most places you can get an awesome apartment. You can go on holiday once every 2-3 months. You can go out to dinner and not really worry about the price tag at 10K a month. If you're going to places where the bill is $500, then, you might want to be making 40K, 40K or more, but, you get my point. I really found that 10K a month mark, making around 6 figures a year, that's really the sweet spot where you have an incredible quality of life. You have very little complexity. When I was making 10K a month with my agency, when I was making 10K a month, and even more now that I'm making 40, 50K a month with my agency, or sorry, this month closer to like 30, 45K. I've actually found that like that's where things are just super lean and efficient, and I don't have to think about it a ton, because a lot of time the thing that can really trip you up and can really make you feel tired or kind of put you down is just overthinking and having a lot on your plate. So at, let's just say 20K a month, you could have anywhere from, it depends what your service fee is. If you're out there getting whales and signing 10K a month clients, then you only need 2, and that's very, very easy operationally. But let's just say your average client is 3K a month. Let's just say hypothetically you need 6 to do 18K a month, which over the space of the year is just something over 200,000, right? At 6 clients, that's pretty easy operationally. It's not too hard operationally, at least if you're offering one service to one niche, and you don't have that much to think about, right? And that's kind of the case with my agency, where we're doing like on average this year or over the last 6 months, we've done on average 40-ish thousand a month profit, and that's just from anywhere from 5 to 7 clients, and then sometimes 2-day training. So usually once every 2 months, I'll fly out to a client's headquarters and I'll train them and their entire team. And most of the time, those clients that I'm training are the ones where we don't want to do a done for you service for them. We don't want to run it monthly for them. I just want to come in, kind of skill transfer and transfer what I know to their team, take my 20K and, kind of walk out. And it's better for them and for us. So, with my agency, there's just such little, I have one team member, it's me and one other person. We have anywhere from 5 to 7 clients a month on average. And there's just so little to think about. Accounting super easy, like getting results is super easy. So we have that. And then if I compare that to, for example, growagency.com, where I have, 4 full-time people, I have 3, 4, 5 other contractors. I have 10 plus service providers, 40 softwares, this thing, that thing, rather than 5 to 7 clients a month that I need to deal with, on a monthly basis, an additional, anywhere from 100 to 300 customers a month, right now averaging around 200. There's a lot to think about. That is a lot to handle, so really from 10 to 40K a month, for me, I found that's the perfect sweet spot. And that's why, really over the last, I'd say around year, I've come to appreciate having an agency more and more and more for the simplicity of it if you do it the correct way. I've looked at other business models out there, and I've realized that the main thing that for me is a lot more stressful, when you're, back end of 2018, I was pulling in a couple 100K a month, and revenue right now we're doing roughly around the same, except I'm growing, so my expenses are quite high at the moment. The difference between, back when I was doing 10 to 40K a month compared to now, we're doing a couple 100K a month. There's a lot more stress. There's a lot more stress, there's a lot more spinning plates. And as I said, that's kind of why I've come to really appreciate having an agency a lot more, because I still have my agency, I'm still in the trenches, even to this day. So it's very interesting to compare having my agency to, having my education business. And if you want to see kind of what it's like and sometimes how I can feel a little jaded, it's funny, Kieran, who's the product manager at growagency.com, he actually wrote an article about what it's like to work for me. I think he called it 19-year-old evil genius, or what it's like to work for a 19-year-old evil genius. And when I saw that title, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh no, he's totally gonna fucking expose me. He's gonna say I'm an asshole and then gonna leave or something like that. But it was a very interesting article, and it's it's so true. Everything he says in there is basically so true. But one of the things he says in there is, and it's true, a lot of time I feel quite jaded, because a lot of time I look at my agency and just how simple it is and how streamlined it is and how profitable it is. The funny thing is my agency this year has made more profit than my education business, even though the education business revenues are way higher. Granted, I'm growing, I'm scaling, I'm bringing on a lot of expenses, a lot of team members. and I'm kind of going through a growth phase right now, and then I'll trim the fat over the next few months, kind of trim the fat, increase the bottom line for the education company. So granted, that's the case right now, but you know, that's one thing you need to keep in mind is you need to look at what do you actually want out of life? What is your, you know, I challenge you right after this video, just write down on a piece of paper, how much do you want your, you know, what's your, next year, what would you want your dream apartment to look like? You know, your dream apartment might be $3,000 a month or 3,000 pounds a month. You know, what's your dream car and what's the monthly payment on that? You know, it might be, you know, 1,500 a month for you to have a, you know, a nice Mercedes you want, or a Porsche, or a Range Rover, you know, whatever. I don't actually know what the payments are. But you know, maybe 3K a month for your apartment, you know, 1,500 for your car and insurance. You know, X amount budgeted for traveling. And you might, when you break down the numbers, and I've done this in the past, when you break down the numbers, you might realize that you really only need 15 to 20K a month net that is, right? So you have to account taxes into that. 15 to 20K a month to live your dream lifestyle. Or you might only need 8K a month. You know, maybe your dream lifestyle is you want to move to Bali, and you know, for transportation, you just get a moped. It's literally like 150 pounds a month for a super nice moped. And you know, you can get an awesome villa there for 1,500, 2K a month, let's just say 2K a month. And then, you know, eating out every night and all this, and you know, going to beach clubs and stuff, you know, your total expenses in a place like Bali might be 4K a month to live like an absolute fucking baller, right? So just write that down, and then from there you can kind of work backwards. And really what I've started to realize, as I said, you know, kind of to bring this back to the topic of this video, is making $1 million has not really changed my life that much, you know, because I'm still spending at making a couple 100K a month. I'm still spending the same amount now that I'm making a couple 100K a month in my businesses, in the agency and the education company. Still making I'm spending the same amount now as I was when I was making 20, 30K a month. And that's kind of just been the funny thing to look at. So I'm making a hell of a lot more money now than I was a year ago, or you know, a year and a half ago, whatever. But I'm spending the exact same amount, yet I have so much more responsibility on my shoulders. Now, I am an outlier, you know, because, and I think Kieran will make that very clear in that article he wrote, or anyone who knows me well, I just genuinely fucking enjoy work, and I genuinely enjoy work. I like the nicer things in life, but for me, the real satisfaction has always been from just doing the work and seeing how far I can push and how far I can grow. You know, like I'm not the type of person to sit by the beach and have like 5 pina coladas and just enjoy life and do that whole, I tried it in Bali like a couple months ago, the whole laptop lifestyle. It just doesn't appeal to me. You know, I'm very weird like that at like 19, rather than taking all the money I've made and, you know, going off to Saint Tropez and fucking around and popping bottles and this thing and that thing. And occasionally I do venture into those worlds and I do those things, but I am an outlier in the fact that, you know, most 19-year-olds with the sort of money that I've made would be doing things a hell of a lot different to what I'm doing, you know, and definitely wouldn't be working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, waking up even on Sundays at 6:30 a.m. And that's just what makes me happy. So that's kind of a very long-winded answer to, does making $1 million truly change your life? And my answer to you is no. If you're trying to chase a number, which I don't think you ever should be, that number, in my opinion, that you should be chasing is anywhere from 20, I'd say, you know, try to overachieve. Might as well go for $20,000 to $40,000 a month profit and a $10,000 a month profit in your business. I honestly can tell you have such an incredible life, and you have 99% of the things you could want. You know, you have 99% of the things you could want, and you know, you may not be able to afford a Jaguar F-Type or a Porsche 911 or a Range Rover, this thing, but the God's honest truth is a lot of that stuff, you think it's gonna make you happy and you think you're gonna like it, but a lot of the time, and that's why I haven't gotten a car yet, is because I know it would sit there and I would resent it, you know, in the same way, for example, you know, I'm very into fashion, or I like to spend my money on clothes and jewelry. That's kind of like the only soft spot for me. In the same way, I go look in my cabinet or whatever, and I see my watches and some of my jewelry, and I'm just like, sometimes I resent it. I'm like, I love, I love it, but sometimes I just want to sell it all and just live as simply as I can. And that's kind of the beauty of when you're doing that, anywhere from 10 to 40K a month. You can enjoy really nice stuff, but I don't think you need to have all this extra stuff that sometimes can add added complexity to your life, like fancy cars, fancy houses, and that's also, for example, one of the reasons I didn't upgrade this place. When I moved into this place, currently I'm making a hell of a lot more money than I did when I moved into this apartment here in London, but I've decided not to upgrade it because I'm like, let's just keep my life as simple as possible. Now granted, I fucking love this apartment. It's like my dream style and stuff like that, but I decided I want to keep things as simple as possible. So anyways, long-winded approach to basically tell you that making $1 million really won't change your life that much, or at least for me, it hasn't. Maybe for you, your priorities are different. Making $1 million definitely hasn't changed my life that much. In fact, it's added complexity to it, which for me, I don't mind, because I just like my greatest satisfaction comes from working like that. It's always kind of been like that. But for most people, I know that it could be very depressing, scaling your business to that level and realizing that it's kind of like golden handcuffs, it's kind of like golden handcuffs where it appears like you have everything, when really you just added so much added complexity and a hell of a lot of responsibility into your life, which actually might make your life worse. So yeah, if you're gonna chase a number, I recommend it be from anywhere from 10 to 40K a month, because you can live a hell of a good lifestyle for that amount, and you can do it while having the thing I'm most passionate about is agency. Having a 10 to 40K a month agency, you can have it, it's super profitable, it's very lean and efficient if you decide on one niche and one service offering, and you don't have to deal with, you don't have all of these spinning plates. It's a very simple thing to kind of put together and architect, and then really from there you have more money than you could ever really need. So guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Hope that answers that question for you. If you want to see that article, it was very beautifully written. Kieran, I actually managed to poach him off of Times Magazine, their marketing subsidiary. He was actually managing all of the clients there. So if you actually want to see his article, I'm going to link that right below. If I don't, just let me know in the comments, because a lot of time I just forget with this sort of stuff. But I'm going to link his article in the comments. So definitely go and check, or in the description, go ahead and check that out. It's definitely very interesting. It says a lot of very okay stuff about me and some very good stuff about me. So yeah, if you want to find out a little bit more about what I'm like behind the curtains, what it's like working for me, then definitely go ahead and check it out. And guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.